Well, how you guys doing? So I've had some customers request that I do a measurement of light and then do an average par reading for the Perfect Sun 1000. There's a Perfect Sun 1000 right there. I'm also going to do it for the Perfect Sun XL and show you how awesome it is as well. It actually covers a big spectrum. Now, they wanted me to compare it to Kind LED's latest light, the K5. And so I'm going to show you what their readings are, what their average is, what they claim it is. And the thing is, they don't measure in real time like I'm about to do. So I'm about to show you the real-time measurements, and then we'll calculate it all on the calculator and see what the average par reading is. Now, to get average par reading, in the same way Kind does, is they take it from 7 different positions: from the center, from a foot away from the center, from 2 feet away from the center. The reason why they do that is because 2 feet this way and then 2 feet that way would be 4 foot. And then they measure here, here, and here, which is also center, 1 foot, 2 foot. So 2 feet this way and 2 feet that way would be 4 foot. That'd be a 4 foot by 4 foot coverage. There's no reason to measure here, here, and here. You're going to get the same numbers. And so they measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, instead of measuring along this axis here and along this great axis back here, instead they go from the center here, and that's 1 foot, and then from the center out here, and that's 2 foot. So that's how they measure it. And they take those 7 numbers, add them together, divide by 7, and that's how they get the average par. I'm going to do mine the same way they do theirs, just for it's fair. All right, let me go ahead and show you really quick with the measuring tape that it's all fair. So you can see here, that's the center. We got 1 foot there, and we got 2 feet there. And then if you go along each edge here, you're going to see it's going to be the same thing. That you have the center there, 1 foot there, and then 2 feet there on the measuring tape, right? So we got a nice 4x4 square, and we're only measuring a corner of it, because that's all they do, and that's all that's really necessary to do. Now let's go ahead and take measurements. I have here a piece of paper that I've already taken all the measurements on, and so we'll get those same measurements here. So starting here from the center, let's go ahead and move out here a little bit. This is going to be the hard part is going to be trying to get it to where you guys can actually see the numbers. So you can see the number there. I'm trying to stay focused. This light, there we go. That's the best way I can do it. All right. As you can see, it's between 1040, 1046. I'm trying to get it right in the center to be as fair as possible. Oh, now you can't see my hand. Sorry about that. It's probably better if I just hold it. Try and get it to stay center. Alright, so 1050. I wrote down 1046 because that's what I was getting. So we'll call it 1046. Moving out to the next square, which is the square that's a foot away from the center. I wrote down 630. We're getting 637, something like that. That's fine, so close enough. I'm actually making it to where it's worse than what I took, but still the average is higher than their light. Now what's really important to understand here is I'm 3 feet away, and I'll show that in a second too. I'm actually 3 feet away. Now if you want to grow with my light stationary, which is what some people are asking to do with it, it needs to be 3 feet away from the plants. 2 feet away is just way too strong. You're going to burn your plants. I'll show you that 2 feet away too though. Alright, so now we're at the edge there. I have 145 written down. We actually have right about there, 145, 150. So I'm just going to call it 145. Just so I don't feel like rewriting down numbers. If I could, I would have had a slightly higher score. Anyway, whatever. So here we got, turn it back on again. 377. I don't know if you can see that number there. Trying to get it. Let's try to come out here more maybe. I'm going to try to push this back like that more. Alright, so I got 350 or so. And anywhere from let me try, hold on. I'm going to try to get this all on camera right here. This is what sucks about live footage is you don't quite get. So right there, that's right dead in the center, right around that 380 mark, so that's why I wrote 380 there. Finally down here, I wrote 70 down on the piece of paper there, and we're getting, as you can see, we're getting that right around that 70 mark. Give or take, so I've already taken away numbers that were higher, so it's evening out. This number here, the 468, is from this measurement here. right in the center there. Sorry, I'm not quite in the center there. Pretty close. I'm getting a slightly lower number this time. Just kind of waiting it out. Oh, sorry, you can't even see my hand. There you go. So after I let it sit there and stabilize, it actually goes higher. So I'm getting higher numbers in most of these areas. This area here, this 100, represents this square back here. Let's move this so we can see this right, hopefully. Trying to get it to where you can see the number and my hand all on the shot here. A little bit higher, we're at 108. So, and I don't remember if I recorded this one already on camera, but we'll go way out here to the edge, and we're getting I'll make sure I'm in the center. 153. So I actually got higher numbers all the way around, as what I wrote down. Regardless, doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and look at the calculator now. So if you want to go with this thing stationary, those are the numbers you're going to get, and the average works out to be higher than the average that you get from. Actually, let me go ahead and move away from this part so I don't do this on camera. All right, so the average I get when you average these numbers out is actually higher than the average that, and I'm using the exact same measurement areas that the Kind does. That's the K5 XL1000. It's the most powerful light. It uses, I think, 650 watts. Mine only uses 520 watts, 520 to 540. So it uses less watts and can get a higher average per coverage, which is pretty crazy. Let's go ahead and get the average here. So we'll go 1046 plus. You can do this yourself as well. It's really easy. Just add all the numbers together. Plus 70 finally, and then finally the two center numbers now. Plus 468 plus 100, and then divide that by 7 since we have 7 total numbers, and you can see there my average is 405. And then if you look at Kinds real quick, I'm going to show you a clip of from their website or from their video, and you can see it's lower than that. So it's 300 and something. I can't remember the exact number. Right, so there you have it. So if you want to go with my light, you can see it easily covers 4x4. Now Kind claims their light covers 5x5. How? I don't know, because when you get to the very edges of their light, even at 4 feet, the par drops so low, like mine. Like, look how far the par is dropping here on the edges. Now my light is super intense. It's made to be growing at 2 feet away to 20 inches away, so 24 to 20 inches away on a light mover. I show in another video why that is and how it covers 8 by at least 3.5 feet wide. So it covers tons of square foot, more square foot than 5 by 5. So yeah, it's a different orientation. You have to use a light mover, but overall it's covering more feet. Now the thing is, with a standard 1,000-watt light bulb, sure, you can claim you're covering 5 by 5, maybe in veg and flower. I highly doubt you're going to get that. Not at 20, 18 inches away from your plants, which is what you want if you want to get big yields. And even if you claim that you're going to get 5 by 5, still 8 by 4 is more square foot anyway. 5 times 5 is 25 square foot. 8 times 4 is 32 square feet. So here is Kind's reading. So this is what they say that their overall reading is from 7 measurements that they take. I'm going to show you what those 7 measurements are right now. So 340 is their average par reading. Basically you add 7 measurements and then you divide it by 7. And that average is from 2 feet away. And so this is a 4x4 layout. You can see when you just watch the video, that's the name of their latest video, you can see when he's taking the measurement, it's definitely 4x4. And how they do it is they measure out from the center to here is 1 foot to the center of that square. From here out to the edge is also 1 foot, or 2 feet rather. So from here to here is 2 feet, and if you would then go from the other side, it's also 2 feet, meaning it's 4 foot across this way. Now the reason why these squares are a little different, they're not on the edge, is because he's measuring from the center here diagonally to that center, that's 1 foot, and then from the center all the way out to this center, that's 2 feet. But notice that center doesn't reach way out here to the edge. The 7 measurements they take is right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. After they take those 7 measurements, they then add all the numbers together and divide by 7, and that's how they get that average number. My average number on the Perfect Sun 1000 beats it at 3 feet away. Theirs is at 2 feet away. And that's if you want to grow with my light stationary. Alright, so 32 square feet is more, obviously, than if you were to be growing with 25 square feet. So you can't put a regular 1,000-watt light bulb on a light mover. And the reason why, well, you can, but you're not really going to see increase in yields, especially if you put it on a 6-foot light mover. The reason why is because it doesn't have the intensity, right? It's not given, this is at 3 feet away, right? My light at 2 feet away gives off far more intensity. It gives off over 1,600 par here, over 1,000 here, and then out here it kind of does drop quite a bit, even lower than this, I think, or it's right around there. So the edges aren't going to get as big, but at 3.5 feet, it's killing it. And even if you take the square footage of 3.5 foot, I mean, obviously the edge budge will still be good because even though it has a kind of a low par rating on the edge of the light, it's still covering it really good because the type of spectrum it's hitting it with, those plants still do really good. Anyway, so if you do 8 times 3.5, you still have 28 square feet. So that's still better than 25 square feet. So a 5 by 5 is 25 square feet. 8 by 3.5, which my light easily covers on a light mover, is 28 square feet. Remember, the intensity is so intense at 2 feet away with my light. Now at 20 inches away, it's super more intense. But at 2 feet away, it's so intense, it has to be in a light mover. Why? Because you'll burn your plants if it's not. With the standard 1,000-watt light bulb, that's not the case. You can even have it 18 inches away from your plants and it won't burn them. Why? Because it doesn't have the intensity. All right, now let's go ahead and look at the light really quickly in real time and take some measurements of it at 2 feet away. I'm going to go and reset this up at 2 feet away. Before I do that, I'm going to show you right now that it is 3 feet away. Notice the light hasn't changed. I'm going to keep all this real time real quick. I don't want someone claiming that I edited it or something like that. So sorry for the boringness. Bam. We're at 3 feet away. Oops. It's 36 inches, 3 feet away from the ground. Oops, I bent it again, sorry. Just trying to keep all this fair. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and pause it and move it down to 2 feet away.